You and other lawmakers who endorse transparency.
Yes.
I don't see why everybody doesn't endorse transparency.
Well, the truth is everybody does.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer,
No,
to be honest.
yeah, everybody endorses transparency, really. It's a question of what they mean by it. That's where you usually get the battle.
But you posted on your website, again, willbrownsberger.com, some steps forward that have been taken.
Yes.
One is that now the state budget must be posted.
Yes. And
that hadn't been the case before?
But, I think that is incremental in the nature of its improvement. It's a step forward. I would argue that actually, in fact, yes, much of it is posted. I'll tell you what isn't posted is the transactional detail. In other words, you can see that, okay, we said we're going to allocate $30 million to operate the legislature in fiscal 2011. You could see that, and you could see the payroll, but what you couldn't see in the past is the actual checks that were written, what the money was spent on if it wasn't for personnel. So, and that's what I posted on my website in December, in which, not that I expected it to be quite the sensation that it was, but that's what led to that whole story about the DeMacy legal bills and so forth, was seeing the individual checks. So that information would be available to any taxpayer.
So you could see the checks.
I got that information because I made a public records request to the Controller's office, and I knew how to massage it and bring it forward.
Right. But now the public won't have to do that.
They won't have to do that. So I mean, I think that
is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's a significant step forward. And the other concern that I've had is the business processes in the way we spend money in the House. We don't play by the the bidding rules and so forth that other agencies play by. I think at this stage in our evolution, particularly in the technology area, we do put out a few big contracts, and those should go out the way any other agency's contracts go out. There's a little bit of information that comes along with that in that website on that issue, but the procedural changes around that are things that I expect to further work on in the rules process next year. The other big thing, though.
Yeah, what's the other one?
The other big thing that came out in the is tax credit transparency. I mean, I don't know if I think we've talked about that on this show. That the film tax credits and some of the other giveaways that we have for sometimes tax credits for businesses can be a very responsible thing.
Right.
I tend to think they more often than not are not so well targeted. In this film, this film
it could be somebody's friend who has a business who suddenly gets a tax credit.
Well, or something that we haven't really thought through the significance of. For example, we've been giving tax credits to companies like Costco and some of these big box retailers to come and locate in Massachusetts. Well, we certainly don't really need to do that. I mean, these are companies that want to serve our markets, and there's really no reason for the state to be giving those tax credits away. And then in the film tax credit area, we've given away
a ton.
Well, we're giving away, 30% of the money goes to millionaires. I mean, people who make more than $1 million per film who don't live in Massachusetts. A bunch of examples like that really convinced me that having some transparency around that is actually significant progress. So I'm glad that so now you'll be able to see who's getting the tax credits, how much, when, and at least at what program they're getting them under. So I think that's a step forward too. I'm actually, those are two good step forwards.